In addition to the allosteric inhibitors like you saw in the video, we also have competitive inhibitors. The competitive inhibitors bind to the active site itself and basically block the ability of a substrate to bind. These are called competitive inhibitors because, in fact, the inhibitor does not bind to the active site covalently, but instead reversibly, just like we've been talking. It's sometimes on, sometimes off. It has a higher or lower affinity. The more inhibitor you have around, the more likely the inhibitor is found in the active site blocking the substrate. But the truth is that the more substrate you have around, the more likely as the inhibitor comes off, a substrate molecule will come into the active site rather than an inhibitor molecule. And thus, the inhibitor and the substrate molecules can compete with one another. And hence, this is called competitive inhibition. So non-competitive inhibition, the example we saw is allosteric inhibition. And competitive inhibition, it's actually everything is going on at the active site. And like I said, this is a way that drugs can work. When you see the word blocker, what you're typically talking about is a drug that is able to bind to an active site or equivalent and block the functioning of an enzyme or a protein by keeping the protein from interacting with what it normally would interact with.